Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, a small fishing village, proudly holding dear the seafaring traditions of a bygone era. And once did a ship named Margaret Jane sail its misty harbor. Among her crew, 3 friends, forever haunted by the unforgettable events of a foggy day.
I've known Mitch and Smitty my whole life. We grew up together, went to school together, played sports together, and ended up fishing together.
It was like one big family out there, 17 men. You get, to be friends with everybody.
We go to a traditional fishing grounds called George's Banks, which is probably 100 miles off the southernmost tip of Nova Scotia.
Returning home from a routine scalloping trip, a sinister murk descends upon them.
In the fog, you stand wheel watches, look in the radar, keep a lookout for other boats. It was thick of fog at the time, so visibility was 0.
We're on deck, and you're hearing the foghorn going. We're reducing our speed. The frequency of the foghorn was going more and more and louder, and I was sure at that point, well, we're close to something or something's close to us. I heard this loud bang.
We took a jolt and hit the wall, and chief engineer, he said, "We've been hit."
I looked up and I could see this huge bow right in the side of our ship.
Like a shark tearing into flesh, the Cape Beaver, a steel-hulled behemoth on its maiden voyage, rips a 20-foot hole into a smaller wooden ship.
I could hear all kinds of things snapping and cracking and popping and banging, like the engine room was coming apart.
In fact, the entire ship was coming apart.
I ran up to the boat deck, and I saw the mate trying to get a dory over the side. By the time I got to my dory and helped the mate take about 2 or 3 turns off of a rope, the water was at my feet.
We proceeded to throw the life raft overboard. And by the time it finished blowing up and we jumped off the boat, we were already up to our knees in water inside the wheelhouse.
She sank with shocking speed. Desperately, the crew struggled to avoid being pulled down by the mighty suction created by the sinking ship.
By the time I come up from underneath the water, the boat was already gone. There was life raft upside down, and I proceeded to scramble up on that, and I think Alan popped up next. I believe he scrambled up on top too.
I was in shock, and wondering, how is everybody? Where is everybody? Who's here and who isn't? But I remember, I guess, looking up at the other ship, and you can hear them directing, giving orders to get a lifeboat over the side. There's guys in the water. I'm thinking, we're going to lose these guys. And I'd say within a minute, there's a rope ladder. They pull us up over the side, and we're just there on the deck. And then there seemed to be some people out around, just floating around by themselves. Some of them had life jackets. And there was a rowboat. They got a rowboat off, and they were rowing around, picking people up. We're all in the galley, I guess, trying to stop shaking and shivering and, wondering what happened. The search continued, but there was no one found.
Families and friends had received news of the distress call. They knew the Margaret Jane had been lost, but little else.
Worried about your family because they're inshore and probably wondering who survived, who drowned, and who made it. We're going home, and that was the most emotional time of the whole thing. I guess the word spread around the community pretty fast that there were some people lost, and nobody really knew who it was for probably a couple of hours. It's proof the ocean can be very romantic. It can also be very unforgiving when something goes wrong.
Through hundreds of years, Lunenburg has sacrificed many a son to its provider. Now it had given 4 more, plus 1 daughter, to Margaret Jane.